Tell us everything.
All right, so I'm going to share with you some methods that I've used to help protect plants when you're experiencing some of the periodic deep freeze conditions that we get here in southern Louisiana. This is a Pitanga tuba, so tropical is a subtropical plant. Obviously, it could be kind of tender in a deep freeze, so protecting it during a deep freeze is really important. And I know I think probably a lot of people will be like, they cover their plants, which is good, but sometimes covering a plant by itself isn't sufficient to protect it from a deep freeze. And I've also heard people say like, oh, just put some Christmas lights around there to keep it warm, which I have also found not to be effective at producing enough heat. So, but it's a cheap, cost-effective thing to try if you got nothing else. So I was scratching my brain about like what else could we use. So I'm originally from Chicago, definitely a very cold weather area, and I remember that sometimes up north you can put what are called de-icing cables on your roof, and they're there to prevent ice dams on your roof from forming. So what happens is like the heat from your house will like melt some of the snow, which then that water will go down under the roof and then collect and freeze in the gutters, and then if that ice builds up, they can start to creep into the roof. So if you put a de-icing cable on your roof, it just melts all that ice away so that you don't have to worry about that problem. So I was like, okay, I wonder if you can use like a de-icing cable to kind of like wrap around the base of a plant or into the plant to protect it from the cold. And I found that it actually worked really well. So I've used it here and in other plants in my front yard. And I've got this cable plugged in over here. So you can see, here's one, I think this is probably about 40 feet long, just kind of coiled around here. And it does get, so right now it's probably what, like 75 degrees, 80 degrees outside right now. So if you're wondering, how warm does this thing get? As you can see, I'm holding it.
Ooh, ooh.
So,
you want to touch it?
Yeah.
Touch
so
it.
it gets pretty hot, but you can hold it, right? You can hold it.
It isn't warm.
Yeah, but the thing is that, it's also warm outside right now.
Mm-hmm.
So when it's, like 25 degrees out, the cable, like the temperature of the cable will be lower. And a lot of these cables are designed to operate so that when their heat output should be somewhere, when it's below freezing, should be somewhere around like 40 to 50 degrees. And the thing, what's also important to note about that is that if you want to put these like around your plants, they won't get hot enough to like cause a fire, which I think would probably be the concern for most people. Yeah.
Now, would you like pound some stakes maybe around the plants and make a little, weave it through? Do you want, or can you hang it right on the plant itself?
You can hang it right on the plant. You might get some scorching on a branch where you put it there just because of the type from the cable resting on there.
Mm-hmm.
But it'll put out enough heat that'll protect like the other branches. You can also just wrap it around the base as well. And you can also bury them in the ground.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, so like if you have a garden bed like I have here and you're growing things, you can just put it in the ground to help prevent the ground from freezing. So,
let me ask you, would you still cover it? Like, would you still put maybe, do you?
Plastic?
Or
yeah, I still put a cover over it.
what do you use?
Just like the frost cloth that you can buy at like hardware store. Yeah.
Okay.
So, and that works pretty well. But you can see I've been holding it this whole time, and
You're not burnt.
I'm not burnt. So, so anybody who wants to use this method, though, I would say just kind of be aware too, like what you're buying. So they should hopefully mention like a heat rating on there, so you can kind of get a sense about how hot it gets. But always like plug it in and test it before you use it, just so you can be certain about like how hot it might get.
Do you remember where you got that one?
I think I bought this one, I think, on just like Amazon, because it's hard to find de-icing cable in southern Louisiana.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So, but if you're from up north, it's definitely much more available. And then something else I also experimented with. I don't have this plugged in right now, but this is a ceramic like heating element that is used for like lizards and snakes, right?
Or they do it with chickens, huh?
Chickens
I think sometimes,
too, right?
right.
So this one is, let's see if I have the voltage on here. think it's like a or 50. I think it's like a 50 watt or something. But but I also found that these things will put out enough heat that they will burn things if they touch. But I found that if you place it like on a brick or something in an open area, like underneath like a plant, and then cover it, it'll just produce like enough like radiative heat to keep things from freezing.
Heat the brick up.
Yeah, it'll heat the brick up, and that works pretty well. I tried this on my Pitanga tuba, and it worked very well. I think when it was like 25 degrees outside, the interior temperature of my Pitanga tuba that was covered was like 50 degrees with this.
Oh, wow.
So it did very well. But if you want to choose one of these, definitely choose like one of the lower watt ones for like safety reasons, because the higher watt ones can get up to like 800 degrees or something. So you would have a fire risk. I have a jerry-rigged kind of thing here. This is just like a socket that I put in there, but they also have like actual like holders that you can purchase for it. Yeah, so you can get these at any plant store, or not plant store, a pet store. So, and so I found these work really well. So these have been my methods that have been very successful at helping protect my plants during the deep freezes that we get.
Yes,
I like
indeed.
the ingenuity of the ratchet straps.
Good to see you.
What's up?
All right, we'll get me too.